Well, with that, I would like to send it over to Kathleen, who will do a brief review of our meeting minutes from the last meeting.
Yes, so this is a review of the meeting minutes from January 26, 2022. There was a motion to approve the minutes. The minutes were approved. We went on to a consultant services update. Brenda Schoenfeld did give that update. She spoke about Engineering Opportunity Day, and that it's an annual event for all new consultants. Wanted participation in that. Consultant Services does keep all presentations for future reference. Also, she made mention of the fact that solicitations are still monthly in-person interviews, and those would be happening in Green Bay, Madison, and Waukesha. There is a lot of construction work that is anticipated, so she anticipates construction solicitations to be happening. If you have capable staff to let consultant services know. Um, she was hearing from regions and bureaus that there's many upcoming staffing needs, so just please keep that in mind. There was one DBE goal set for the January 2022 solicitation that was in the Southeast region, and consultant services had started to reach out to communities anticipating with the anticipated funding with the recent bipartisan infrastructure law. Um, the local program is expected to have a significant increase, and she made reference to the consultant services local program page that's contained in the minutes. Encouraged everybody to take a look at that. We then moved on to the DBE program updates. Leah shared some updates. Again, our annual goal, 12.41%. We exceeded that for fiscal year 2021 by achieving 14.57%. She broke down some further numbers that are detailed in the minutes as well. Specific to consultants, out of 190 DBE firms that were paid, 36 of those were consultant firms receiving a little over 26 million. And we're on track and trending well from fiscal year 2021 into fiscal year 2022. Leah also indicated ways that we are seeking to increase DBE participation specific to consulting firms. There's some strategies in place that we're going to do a pilot in the Southeast region. We're going to invite 3 or more firms to respond and invite all firms to sign up to receive notification for small package projects. We're also diversifying those selection panels as well. There were some questions that came up after this presentation, specifically to the focus group, or excuse me, to the UWM study, where we are partnering with UWM, who's conducting an 18-month study to look at DBE participation, the challenges and barriers that exist. Leah answered some questions regarding, how the focus group or how the study is being conducted, utilizing focus groups, reaching out to over 100 DBE firms and having one-on-one conversations and really taking a deeper dive into understanding what those barriers might be. There was a question regarding mentor protege. We're still working on pairs on the construction side and do have a few pairs on the consulting side. And then there was a question regarding the spreadsheet, the report that was sent out where Brenda did go into some more detail in breaking down those numbers. And then we had an industry check-in. A common theme that came up with the comments is, with this new funding, seeking new ways to, work more effectively with the consultant community and with WSDOT, taking a different approach and making sure that we're utilizing, as many assets and resources as possible. The DBE conference on March 4th, 3rd, and 4th was brought up multiple times as a great event for consultants to take advantage of, and went into some closing comments. between Scott Lowry and Leah. And again, a reminder to attend the annual event on March 3rd and 4th. And that's it.
Great. Thank you, Kathleen. Does anyone have any additions, questions, or comments about those notes? Okay, then let's move to approve. Do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve. This is Kim Lobdell.
All right, Kim, thank
Right.
you. And the second, is
Second,
that Dave?
Randy.
Randy. Okay, thank you. We're approved then. Thank you. Moving forward. You probably see my name on the consultant services updates agenda, but Mitch Patoka has graciously agreed to do this for us. So Mitch, are you able to share that report, or do you want us to do it for the attainment?
Yes, I can pull it up. All right,
Thank you.
so can everybody see the report now?
Yeah.
Yes.
So based on our current achievement updated at the end of March, we have a 23+% DBE participation on what has already been executed, and that would be enough to meet our goal for the year. Our major DBE participation occurred in May 2021, and that was the I-43 construction projects, construction oversight in Southeast region. Also significant in July 2021, which was the I-41 design in Northeast region. Construction made up of many smaller projects where we always have strong DBE participation. And then getting down into our projected solicitations, in our earlier solicitations where we have not yet had executed contracts, we have had the goal on the 794 project, and that one also had significant projected neutral participation. We have 2 more solicitations that will be coming out yet this state fiscal year, as well as a significant amount of other contracts that will come in through work orders and staffing contracts, as well as other needs for the regions. Any questions on our current or projected DBE achievements?
Thanks for that, Mitch. What I want to let the group know as well is that while the percentage met here of federal funds on consultant side is technically more than the required amount if we looked only at our 2 sections, construction and consulting, is completely separate. But we do see them as working towards the overall altogether. And so where there are opportunities that make sense to still add a consultant goal, we do consider that. So that's where you saw that in the January letting. We have a couple design build projects coming up that have goals on them that will include consultant and construction on the same project. And I am working with the regions specifically to see, we thought we had a couple more in Northwest region, I believe it was, but those were state funded only. So just wanted to let you know that we do look for opportunities still for goals, even though this achievement is quite significant. We're still looking for those opportunities. So just wanted to get that out there. Do you have any questions, anyone, about this actual achievement thus far? Not seeing any hands. Mitch, is there anything you'd want to share about upcoming solicitations or other projects information that might interest those in the meeting?
There's upcoming solicitations. We are still seeing a large number of solicitations coming through of varying sizes, both large projects where there may be teaming possibilities for DBEs, and then also a fair number of smaller mid-sized projects that would represent good break-in opportunities for somebody who isn't currently getting a lot of work with DOT. Everything else is pretty much the same from what Brenda had updated you last time. The local program applications for municipalities will be reviewed, and after that, the municipalities will be soliciting interest for design consultants. So continue to monitor those local programs for additional opportunities.
I have one question, Mitch. This is Kim Lobdell. Does the participation count when the NOI is solicited or when the contract is actually signed?
On top, this is when the contract is actually signed for our executed, and then on the bottom, this is a mix of estimates and what comes in on the NOI, depending upon where that negotiation is in the process. If we have the contract and we're just waiting for approval, then it has the achievement based on what's actually been negotiated. If it's a contract that has not been negotiated yet, then we rely on the percent participation from the NOIs.
Okay, so when you do your report, it goes by really solicitation rather than actual contract signing date.
The bottom half, the top half is actual contracts that we have in hand and have been signed and consultants are working on. And then it's only in our projected that we have to look at the NOIs to make assumptions about
Okay,
what
I
the
understand that from this report, but when you have to report back to Federal Highway, how do you guys do it?
actual contracts, federal highway asks. Yeah.
If you
Okay,
scroll
thanks.
up a little, Mitch, the top of the report, I think, shows where you are connecting to the executed amount.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so eventually what happens for federal highways is this bottom half disappears month by month and gets added to that top half of executed.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, is that Meenal?
Yeah, quick question on that. So to follow up on Kim's question, is it once the contract's signed or is it once it's actually invoiced and billed and the work is done? So,
Once
because
it-
the work may never come to fruition or it may change.
Right. This is based on what is signed on the contract. There are additional reports to FHWA about final billing.
Okay. All right, just curious. Thank you.
That's a good question, Meenal. So when we report the uniform report, which one is coming up in June, the uniform report will track commitments. That's construction, consulting, and everything after contract execution in construction. Those are just the commitments. And then separately, we track the payments and report on that because, FHWA does want to see that, in fact, there are dollars going out to DBs and not just we make, millions and millions of dollars of commitments and it never turns into anything. So there are two parts, but they don't end up lining up exactly because we have projects ongoing for years in both parts of the program. So it's just a sort of real-time snapshot of where we're at every 6 months to the feds.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mitch. I appreciate you being here, and I'm not sure how long you'll get this opportunity, but we're happy to have updates from you as we move forward. And if you all are thinking of questions as we go along too, it's fine to ask them at a later point. And I'll give you a chance as we go around at the end of the meeting as well. So at this point, I'd like Maria to share the attainment report that puts together these figures from consultant services and construction so that you see the overall and how that's working towards meeting our overall goal. I know it can be confusing sometimes when you see consultant services at 23%, but our overall goal is 14%. So what does that mean if we're only at 12%? You know what I mean? So and our overall goal at 12.41, when Maria brings it up, you'll see that, and then you'll see where we're at, and you'll see construction and consulting.
Okay, let me share my screen. And Please let me know when you can see my screen.
It's coming.
Okay,
Good.
can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, it look here like it was frozen. Okay, so like we have been mentioning, our overall annual goal is 12.41, and conscious we are looking for 8.14 and neutral for 27. Here we show this is the estimate amount on construction for the federal fiscal year 2022, and this is year to date is 8.3 millions. And here we have whatever we have been so far, like Magdalena was mentioning, this is what have been the contract that have been signed and for the up to March, and the value is 5.2 millions. So with that in mind, let me move this a little bit here. So we have here the let's say like a kind of summary. We have this is for the amount of the that we just was seen on consultant. This 75 million is wherever they have been the contract on consultant that we got. And here we will have both of the construction and consultant. We have both of the amounts here. And this is the consultant that we just see on the previous presentation. This is whatever is for the Dbes that we have on consultant. And this is the one that we have for construction. So this is on the total. What all this value means to us is that so far, like I say, up to March, we have 8.3 out of the 8.14 that we were looking for unconscious, and we have already exceeded 5.05% out of the 4.27 neutral. For the overall total that we have is 13.48. That's up to March again. And this value is out of the 12.41 that we were looking for. I don't know if you have any questions so far, and I'm pretty sure Magdalena will add information about it. So, any questions?
Thank you, Maria. Can you scroll back? Just briefly want to just point out how we are tracking this. You see there's that 834 million that we are estimating is coming in from federal funds in construction. You can see so far 525 million of the 834 is used. So we've got around 300 million left that we're looking at in construction. That could change if we get an influx of dollars related to bill. We're staying closely in touch with DTIM and that financial arm to make sure that we calibrate correctly. But as we're trending over goal at this point, it looks like we're able to start pulling back on some of our upfront goal setting, which means we'll be relying more on that neutral participation as we move through the rest of the year. So the next time that this group meets, we'll be able to tell you what we had submitted to FHWA in June and where we officially were at that 6-month mark, and what it looks like moving forward for construction, and then for consulting if there were more opportunities for goals on any of those projects. So overall, looking good right now. So any questions for us on our current participation and engagement?
Are just the consultant numbers broken out anywhere in this spreadsheet, or are they all construction or consultant and construction added together?
Yeah, here you can see this is so far were the amount that we saw in the previous report for the consultant. And here is only the consultant value for the DVE that we got also in the previous. This is but like this, obviously this came from the report that we were reviewing before from consultants.
Okay, thank you. So it's this little summary table on the side is the consultant.
It's the combination.
Yeah, here, yes, it's a combination. As you can see here, this is the actual amount that they have been contracting, and this is the DVE participation for consultant, and this is the estimate of consultant for the 2022 federal funds year to date. So we have here like a summary for both of them, like I should say, combining construction and consultant to get our overall annual percentage.
So can I also just mention, so I know this can get confusing. So as was mentioned, this is we combine this information because this attainment report helps track so that we are able to complete the uniform report, which is eventually submitted to federal highways. Is that accurate, Maria? And Madalena, that's why we use this combined report, so it helps us with that tracking piece.
Maria, can you talk about that 9.5 million that's hanging there for a second? Because I don't know if we addressed that.
This one?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. This is only the additions. So we have during the construction projects under construction, we have a lot of additions and also we have reductions. So we treat those separate, and we have an spreadsheet where we track all the addition and reductions, and we just add to this value on this column. This is the total modification, as you can see here, month by month, but these modifications, these values already include the reduction. So every time that we see on payments, and this is actually, we have been doing this on actually payment. Every time that we see an increase on payments, or a new DVE working or coming to the project, then we ask for the attachment A, which is where they sign the commitment, and we track. Like I said, we have a tracking document where we put all that information, and we summarize all of them month by month, and then we subtract the values. I don't know if, do you want me, Magdalena, to show the detail?
No, I think that's good.
Okay.
I just wanted
Okay.
people to know what that was, and importantly, to be pointing out that we are course correcting as we go along. So we have a commitment. We realize we need an adjustment, primes, both consultant and construction. If there's a DB committed to that project and the commitment's going to be modified, then the prime needs to request our permission to do that kind of modification. And so when we approve that reduction, then that will be reflected here in this report. So we gain, we lose, we gain, we lose. And so ultimately, after taking out those reductions, we're at a positive of 9.5 million for the after contract execution on the construction side.
Yeah, because
Okay, so I hope that helps you guys. I don't know if you like all of this detail, but I just sorry.
I have a question. I have a question.
Yes,
When
go ahead.
we're talking about consultant here, you're talking about design consultant and then construction management. Is
The
that what you're talking?
construction management will be included in the consultant piece, and then construction completely separate of construction management. So we've got all professional services within that consultant report that Mitch provides.
And so this does not include construction management.
It does.
That's what I'm saying. So this is more like both design and construction management.
The line that there is saying DBE commitments, I can't tell, is that 21M? M21. that is taking the information from that report that Mitch showed us. So Mitch's report would include every contract that is to DBEs. So Mitch, I don't know if it's better for you to address that, but in your report is design and construction management, correct?
Yes, design and construction.
Well, when you say construction, is this construction management, which is separate from construction itself? So when you
Yes.
say this is design and construction management, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So the green and white chart is showing actual construction, not construction management.
Yeah, but
That makes sense? I just want to make sure Toya is clear on that piece, right? So we're showing you what we achieved in construction, paving, landscape, all of that work. Separately is the 17.5 million consultant services, which is design and construction management. And any other professional service, right? Public outreach, work that is being done in real estate, etc.
Okay. I'm not sure if I received this spreadsheet before the meeting.
No.
Yeah, can you please send the spreadsheet to me, please, after the meeting? Let me review it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, good discussion. I'm glad that we brought this because in past years it's been looking very separately at like consulting is over here, construction's over here. How do they work together? So we want to be sharing that information with you so you see how that grows along the way. So any other questions for Maria or Mitch before we move along? I'm not seeing any. Okay, thank you, Maria.
Okay, thank you.
Stay there in case we have any questions for you. Don't go anywhere. I will share some sort of I don't know, formality sort of information with you first because I want to share some form updates that we've been working on and then get into some of the more and that maybe not that form updates aren't interesting, but some of the more engaging ideas, approaches, pilots we're working on. So I'm going to share my screen, go briefly over some form updates because I'm not sure at what point we left it for everyone in terms of our form updates for the DT 1029, which is the commitment in consulting. We did those updates, worked through that with consultant services and the region representatives, and that went into effect in this says 1021. So I know that we've had discussions after that, and I think this informed then the update of the GFE form. But I just wanted to draw your attention to this as a prime or a sub DBE. The form you're looking at is very similar, but a little bit changed. We added some project ID information in here. We also added instructions to the form, which we thought might be helpful, and then broke out each section of the form. So this is listed on WSDOT's official forms page. But if you don't have access to it for some reason, can't find it, let me know or contact whoever you're working with in the region and they can get that to you. So just letting you know that got updated. GFE form also got updated. Really not too much change to this one, but we did add an area in here where we wanted some more specific information, and we did ask for some more description here on how the contract was approached and the solicitation and the efforts. So you will see a form that looks a little bit different there. And finally, the 1013. It's been a while since we talked about CUF monitoring for consultant services. We have made progress here. We did meet with the consultant services group at their last monthly meeting and have come upon an approach to have all of the DBE consultant contracts reviewed for this current federal fiscal year. And so those reviews of this form will be done in the regions. And we will work with those teams on training for CUF, tracking for this process, and then working with any DBE firms who may have questions. Mitch provided a report to us with around 50 DBE firms who currently have open contracts. So those would be the contracts that would come under review in this monitoring process. So just want to give you an update of where we're at there. And if you receive some questions from your region rep about CUF, it won't be coming completely out of left field. This is what we're talking about and what we need to do to be compliant with the regulations. Many of you may already be familiar with it because people from your teams may be completing health monitoring on the construction side as project engineers. So this is a process now we're bringing consultant side up to speed on. So let me know if you have any questions. We will plan to do some outward education on this too. I think it's been maybe more than 2 years that I brought this up at ACEC meeting. So Dave, I don't know if it would make sense for me to come talk again at the quarterly meeting, and just let everybody know that yes, this will in fact start happening now on the consultant side. I think we focus more on the construction side at that quarterly. So let me know.
I think it probably would be a good timing.
Okay. I will make a note and I'll get back in touch with you on that.
Okay.
Okay, so that's forms, etc. Any questions? I can't see hands when I'm sharing, so are you all that seemed great updates you've received now? I hope so. Take questions whenever you have them. I also wanted to draw your attention to the updates we've been making on the DBE website, part of WisDOT's website. These are 3 pages within the contracting with the DBE page. So on this main page, which this is generally my landing page because there's just so much information in here. We put trainings and videos, etc. There are links on this page to the UCP as well as to aeronautics and transit. But if you want information on opportunities for construction and consulting, there's this lettings and solicitation page that we have more information and links. So that's potentially helpful to you, or if you were wanting to pass information on to others. This is a good page to check out. ASP3 and good faith effort. While the majority of this information is directly applicable to construction contracts, and ASP3, of course, is attached to those contracts. The guidelines, nonetheless, that are related to the regulation are still applicable also on consulting. So, of course, we need to follow modification of commitment, etc. As I mentioned, good faith effort always has to be demonstrated. So it is a good tool there. And then we have an archive of updates that we put out there too. So that's one page I want to share with you, and then there's various menus of what we've updated here. A lot of this information will be related to the construction side, but could be informational for you depending on where you're working within our jobs. And then I also wanted to draw your attention to the updates we've been doing in support services pages. So on this page, it breaks into 3 separate areas, and you may be looking for assistance from us on your business plan development. Do you need a contract reviewed? Do you need some advice on where to go for bonding? A variety of support we can give you here and advice as a DBE at no cost to you. And the business growth and development piece, we're adding to this continually as you become interested in Any of our support services, we would ask that you complete a capacity building business assessment that tells us where you're at in your business right now and looks at the kinds of services you're requesting or that might be helpful to you that we would recommend. Mentor Protege is an area that we're still working on bringing back online in the consultant program. It works very differently than it does on the construction side, so we have to figure out how to do those contracts. But we do have 2 pairs with signed MOUs right now, and we have a couple more that are going through the process. And I know, Angela, you're on the line here too, and you had expressed interest in Mentor Protege program as well. And so we're really looking for more feedback on how to make it successful on the consultant side. I think what I've been hearing mostly is that the pairs need to have a project to work on together, that is the best way to benefit from this type of a pairing. And the 2 in the pairs that are already part of Mentor Protege and Consulting do have contracts together. I've been working with Deb Evers in the Southeast region to identify a project that we could use as a pilot for small purchase contract that we're aiming for July, that we could open up to any firms that are in the Mentor Protege program or are in the process of getting into the Mentor Protege program. So that would be a way to focus in on groups that we want to ask to participate without creating a set aside. So we think that that could be a really great way to bolster the Mentor Protege program on the consultant side. Stay tuned. That's not too far out, so I'll have more information about that. Deb had a meeting conflict today, but in the future, I'm going to see if we can have more of the consultant unit supervisors participate in this meeting, because I think they can do much better at conveying opportunities to you than I can and answer some of those questions more directly. Mentor Protege program also has a brochure. So go look at the brochure if you want more information. I know a lot of times the websites don't, it's just all kind of dry information. So, so here's nice, nice brochure that Rosalind worked on. Thank you, Rosalind. And we'll move along here. Workshops, what we will have here linked are workshops that were part of our last annual event. We have a YouTube video page now. Those are in the process of getting uploaded and descriptions added, and then they'll be linked. You can reach them here. The Loan Mobilization Guarantee Program. Roz, do you want to talk about this just a little bit? I'll pull up the brochure.
I can say a few words. I really just want to make it clear that it's a guarantee program, that WISDOT does not give out loans. We do not do loans. The program is managed by the African American Chamber of Commerce. Oops, did I say the African American? I mean the American Indian. I'm sorry. I'm so used to saying that the American Indian Chamber of Commerce and First American Capital Corps. So Gary and Bill are overseeing the program, and because they have a lot of things going on over there, so it was a good fit for them. And so because they also just giving out loans, well, not giving out loans, but they're working with small businesses on who request loans. And so so it's really a guarantee program. And if anyone has a contract with DOT, and they need some additional funds to mobilize that contract, they can reach out directly to the American Indian Chamber of Commerce, and then they will follow up with us to give us the details, and we'll try to get that contract to as collateral. That contract really is collateral, and they'll provide the loan, and we just guarantee if there's any defaults, which we know won't happen. So. But that's basically what it is. It's just that we just guarantee the loan provided by either the American Indian or First American Capital Corps or any other bank. They may have their own bank that they want to work with, and they decide we feel more secure with the guarantee from WISDOT. So that's basically how it works.
Great, thank you. Yeah, so let us know if you have more questions about that. We'll get you in touch with Gary or Bill. And this is an area that we are also building on this page, resources that may be helpful to DBEs. So those are various websites. We're also working with these agencies to add more contact information and description so that you don't just go to a website, try to figure out what to do, but we could say at the EDBC here, you're gonna talk to Marjorie Rucker, for instance. Okay, so there's some updates there. And I think there was one more area on this page that we updated. Let's see. Skill development. So in here, we will also be linking to those workshops that we mentioned with descriptions. And then there are a couple different other resources here that we talk about in terms of the trans program, highway technician certification program. So I don't want to spend too much more time here, but just letting you know these areas, these are updated pages with resources, and we'll keep working on them. We are also working on an interactive calendar that should be out soon. That will list all of our meetings, various conferences, industry information, and you'll be able to save those events to your calendar. So that is coming in the next month or so. And then just to make sure you know, this is the directory the interactive directory map. So I know you've all seen it before, but this will list our where all DBs are, the 6-year projects. You can turn that layer off if you want. You can search by name, you can search by work type, and you can also get directly to the directory from here if you'd rather see a spreadsheet. So that's what I wanted to share with you in terms of kind of where we're at in making some progress on various areas. I'll give you a chance to ask any questions you may have before I put you on the spot and go around the room. Don't see any hands. Okay. Then let's start with Toye. Any questions or comments?
Sorry, I have a question there regarding the small purchase contract you mentioned there. Is this more like working with Randy Kanaki's office in terms of the languages that we come? Because I don't know how we're going to prevent. I thought you said, well, you said you're working on that, so I don't know. Can you tell us more about that, though? Because
Sure.
I don't want to ask questions.
Yes, and I do wish Deb was here, but what the reason that we're working so closely together is because the region would identify an appropriate project, and then our office would work with the region and consultant services to send out that notice to the firms that we had identified would receive a request to participate for the small purchase contract. So as you know, we only have to ask 3 firms, but our plan was to ask any of the firms who had expressed interest in participating in the mentor protege program, which would include our existing pairs.
Okay, I will maybe my other questions will come offline. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thanks. And maybe you can participate in a conversation with Deb and me as well. That could be helpful.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. Angela. Oh, that's right. Thanks, Scott. Scott just posted a note saying that Justin Kiekerhofer, is that how you say it, had replaced Randy Kanaki. So just so everyone's clear on that. Yeah, Justin's really helpful and knowledgeable. Okay, Angela.
Thank you.
Madalena, can you say that last name again? Justin who?
It's in the chat.
I want you to say it.
Kiekerhofer. Something like that. Very close to that. Okay, Angela.
I'm hoping.
Okay, for.
No, thanks for inviting me because this was very helpful. We're DBE up in the Northwest region. We are trying to get on, we do the solicitations, we do the design opportunity days. We do municipal design, county road design, MnDOT design, And so, but we can't break into the WISDOT design. So that's really where I'm trying to find avenues. You know, I've been talking to a few of you, just trying to figure out what the best way is. And especially like the mentor protege, if there's no DBE requirement, you know, if a large firm doesn't want to give away a portion of their work, and I totally understand that. So I don't fault them, but this, you know, if we can do it through the small packages, that is a great, yeah, a great idea, a great opportunity. So I work a lot on the MnDOT side, and they're, you know, working through ways of getting more DBE design participation as well. So that's why I'm hoping I can bring some information, learn from you, learn from them, and see where we can make some hopefully good changes. So anyways, thank you.
And Angela Stevens is working a lot on the construction management
Yes,
side,
we
right?
have a lot of construction management. We have since like 1988. And so we've always done construction management before my ownership. So before we were a DBE. So yeah, so we're kind of on there because we're a DBE. Well, we're not. I mean, there was no DBE goal, but we've always done construction management. But obviously we claim, yeah, and we have to do our DBE claim on it.
Right.
But yeah, so we've been around this for a long, long time, and that's why just trying to break in on the design side has been very challenging, and that's what I'm trying to figure out how to do. And especially with all this BIL funding coming through a lot of my municipalities, and you know, they're all going to be soliciting for design, and we have no design experience on our resume. So it just kind of is a vicious circle. So that's what I'm hoping to somehow break in and be able to provide the service to even my
Right.
municipalities as we get into this BIL funding. So
Yeah, that's great. And I think because you've already got because you're already known to WISDOT, that should be, you know, an advantage to you because you're known to do good work and you've demonstrated that you're reliable, etc. It's not the unknown factor, but maybe it's the unknown and design piece that that I think that mentor protege can be helpful, and potentially coaching too, which is a new area that we're working on with Dar, who consults with us and meets with DB firms on a host of different types of concerns, questions, how to help them think outside of the box when not being able to break into a particular area. So this could be a good precursor to mentor protege too. And I'm mentioning really that for the benefit of everyone here, because we have various tiers of support that we want to give to you. Sometimes firms aren't ready to immediately jump into a mentor protege relationship either, but need some more support, guidance, pointing in the right direction, making introductions. So we have Dar in that place to do a lot of that legwork and help people make those connections. So we'll have Roz follow up with you on that, because that could be something we put in motion right away.
May I ask her some questions if you don't mind?
Yes. Yes.
Angela, where are you planning to have your office in Wisconsin?
our office is in Hudson, which is basically right across from St. Paul. We're right on the border on 94, right as you go into across to the Minnesota St. Paul. So
Maybe it doesn't really matter that much when it comes to design, but did you call the consultant unit supervisors in each region to do some kind of networking? They will allow you to do like 30 minutes or 20 minutes presentation. They will call in all the PMs, the supervisors, okay, and then you can present your staff and your experience to them. So you need to start from there so they know who they are dealing with. Okay, they need to know you. And that's where they make out in most of the selections anyway. So, but you need to start there.
And
Okay?
and we do know the design people in the Northwest region, but yes, I should continue to outreach to them. So that makes sense. And then I hoped the design opportunity days or whatever would also help reach other regions, but it hasn't. So.
Well, you got to do more than that. That's what we are saying. So we don't wait until
exactly.
1 year thing. Okay.
No, that's.
Well, you have Toya's contact information from this meeting, so you can definitely reach out to him and continue the conversation for some more guidance there too, who to connect with. Great. Okay, thanks so much. I'm gonna come to you at the end, Leah. So Dale, what do you have for us?
Yeah, I think it's been a great meeting. There's a lot of information being shared here, and it's a dynamic time. There's a lot of changes going on, a lot of transitions at the DOT, a lot of transitions in the consultant industry, and I think we just need to keep talking. So thank you.
Great, thanks for being here. Dave Bro. Anything from you, Dave?
Additional faces and different people on as part of the meeting, but thank you for what you're pushing and doing. So it helps. And as I'll hit on ACEC a little bit later on the updates.
Okay, thank you. Mary Forlenza. Tell us your
Get
news.
myself off mute here. Hey, everybody. I would also echo really good meeting today. Lots of good conversation, lots of clarification on some of the data that you guys are sharing. So good reminders for folks that have been around for a while, as well as newer people to the group. And I always learn something when people ask about the numbers and we dig in a little bit. So on the federal side, like all of you, really kind of waiting to see how the increase, the huge influx in funding is going to impact some of the things that are coming quickly. So good meeting.
Great, thank you. Do you want to tell us a little about Jada as well?
Sure. And sorry, I put a note in the chat and I didn't realize my camera wasn't on. That Jada is our new incoming civil rights specialist. Jada is coming to us from Virginia. So they are actually, when I texted her, because she's supposed to be here today, she's still not located. She's not physically here yet. They're actually packing up her stuff. So I'm like, nope, that's good. You keep packing up your house. And so she will definitely be here in person by the time we have our next meeting. But we're hoping that I'm hoping, we don't have everything laid out yet because she is not moving a house, but an apartment. And because of timing and just the way things work, her things will be sharing a truck with 2 other people that have apartments as opposed to filling a whole semi with a home. So sometime in the next 10 days, her things will be delivered here in the Madison area, and she will be joining us physically. We also in the Wisconsin and all highway divisions, this week was our first week back physically in the office. Federal highway division offices each have to choose a core day each week where everyone is expected to physically be in the office because we have a very liberal telework policy that will continue. Our core day in the Madison division office is Mondays. And people are allowed to telework up to 3 days per week. So that gives you an idea. So as we are getting back into in-person meetings or hybrids where you guys will want our in-person participation, it is understood, of course, that telework gets moved around given work commitments. So the fact that these types of meetings are scheduled out far enough in advance, I don't see any issue or problem where Jada and or I can continue to participate in the way you need us to do. So looking forward, I'm fully staffed for the first, I should knock on wood, right? For the first time in 2.5 years. I'm really excited.
Well, we thank you for all your support and guidance along the way, because I know that it's been pretty constant. So thank you for being there, and we're still going to be tapping into you as a resource.
Absolutely. And there's lots of really good things, exciting things that Wisconsin's up to. The civil rights program overall has made some huge strides over the last 2-3 years, and it's an exciting time to be in civil rights here. So
it is, yes, thank you. So I noticed Leah has to take off. So sorry, I skipped you, Leah. Do you want to say words before you leave?
Yeah, probably not much more than what I put in the chat, but again, thank you all, as always, for your feedback and participation. Your attendance at these meetings they're very important to us, so continue to share your feedback. Even outside of these meetings, continue that dialogue with us. Thank you.
Leah. And I see Keisha joined us from Prism. Keisha, anything you'd like to share?
Hello. Hi, everybody. No, just saying hi. Good to hear from everybody. It's a great meeting. Thank you for all the information and clarification. Appreciate it.
Yes, and thanks to you and Prism again for all the organizational support of the annual event. It was very successful this
Yes.
year.
Feels so long ago.
I know, doesn't it? It's like, oh wait, that was only like
Like
a
I don't
month and a
talk
half.
to you guys enough. Aw.
Right. So yes, thank you, Mike Rivera. Anything you'd like to add? You are on, there you go.
Nothing. I just listening to the information and taking it all in, and hopefully we do see some increased opportunities for DBE consultants and the promise of breaking up projects to increase those opportunities. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you. Mino, what would you like to add?
I have nothing to add. Great information. Thank you for putting it all together. One quick comment to Angela. If you want to reach out to me, I'd love to connect with you. Small woman-owned business to small woman-owned business. See what we can do for partnering and getting us both further.
Wonderful. Great.
Awesome.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
And thanks also, Mino, to you and your team for your support of the annual event as well. Definitely takes a village, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking here. Kim, I skipped you. I'm sorry. Anything you'd like to add?
That's all right. I usually add so much throughout the rest of the meeting, spend most of my time asking questions, but no, I think it's a really great meeting too. As I'm sitting here though, the one thing that I'm trying to figure out is, you know, this is such a limited group of people and that committees have to be that way. But the whole purpose of having a committee is then to take that same information and disseminate it out to a bigger group of people. So I'm trying to think how we can get this information past the Trans-CAC committee. And I know the ACEC quarterly meeting is a good way to do it. You know, we could have a representative from this committee make a presentation at every meeting. It doesn't have to be you, Madalena, but it could be one of the consultants that's participating in the meeting to share some of the initiatives, just like, you know, some of the different things that are on the web pages that you went through and some of the different things in the forums. But I think that that's a goal, and that's something we need to put in here, is to how we can further disseminate this information, because there is, I mean, everybody said it's wonderful. It's the information that you have and all the initiatives you're doing and everything we're trying to do is just great information, but it's such a small group of people here. And especially for the consultants, we need to get it out to the whole consultant industry rather than just at the DOT. Now, someone from our firm, Chad Halverson, is the chair of the TSC, the Transportation Steering Committee, starting the 1st of June, 1st of July. So, you know, I can help him out, but maybe I'll talk with him and see if, you know, we can come with trying to get a standing agenda item on the ACEC quarterly meeting to further try to disseminate this information. And I know not all the consultants are a member of ACEC, so, you know, we need to think outside the box a little bit past that too, but it's great information, and we just have to come up with a good way to get it further to other people so that we're sharing everything, because it's very, very important. One question I have, and I don't know if you're gonna talk about it later or not, we didn't have, but do you guys have any schedule on the latest selections for the DBE technical consultants, or whoever you just did the master contract? Is there a schedule as to when you're gonna try to get the master contracts out, or when they're gonna take place, and when you're gonna start writing work orders for those?
Right, and Roz may have more information on this, or maybe Mitch. Mitch, you unmuted. Do you have a response?
So I don't remember exactly. I think were those contracts starting for sure by July, possibly a little earlier. So I think they're available to use, and then it's just really up to the DB office when they have a need that arises.
Okay, because
So-
typically they do the master contract, right? I mean, we always sign a
Right.
master contract with a limit and then we write work orders as the need arises.
I'm just waiting on signatures. Did you sign your recent contract?
I didn't, no, I
No.
didn't,
So
because
that's
I
what I'm
don't
saying.
think I
We're
got
waiting.
one yet. I
Right,
didn't
yeah,
get
we're
a
waiting,
notice.
Okay.
we're waiting for approval from the secretary's office back, so they're in something with FIPS or something, so, but you'll have them before June or July.
Okay,
I'm pretty
so
sure of
it's
that.
on your end right now. You guys are putting together the master contracts and then it'll come out to us for signatures?
But that's where it's at in the process, because it's not in my hands right now. It's in the secretary, it's at the secretary's office, as far as my understanding is concerned.
I think that might be the governor, but
Or the governor,
we'll,
so-
we'll touch base with Mitch just to make sure we're clear on where we're
Okay,
at in the
yeah.
process. I
Yeah.
do know that it's moving forward and that before
Yeah.
Brenda left, she did everything that she needed to do. So we're not stalled. I just can't give you an exact answer on
okay,
Right,
where we're at, but it'll move along. We won't forget about that.
okay.
right.
Thank you.
Yep, so then I'll just throw it out to the group. If anybody else has any thoughts, you know, later on down the road, maybe not quite at this meeting, as to how we can disseminate this information to a wider group of people, that would be really, really very helpful, because there's so much really good information here. And I sit here and I go through these things and it's like, well, there's only like, 12 or 14 of us, of which, a lot of you are DOT people, and you guys have the opportunity to meet through different groups yourself. But it's how can we get this information to all the consultants, the people who are trying to be DBEs, the people who are DBEs and are trying to get work, and those kinds of things. So we need to brainstorm a little, but I'll talk with Chad from ours in terms of the ACEC quarterly meetings, but maybe we have some other ideas too. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for that, Kim. And I think that we could also consider doing some informational sessions that, we got experience doing that with ASP3 for construction. And now with good faith effort. And so now we really understand how to do that type of communication, how to engage with industry. And I think that's an appropriate way to also bring more information to consultants. So I'm glad you bring that up, and it will definitely be on my list. And I also want to encourage us to be thinking of how are you all getting that information out too, like Kim is suggesting. Because I think that oftentimes when this information comes peer to peer, it hits in a different way too than just WISDOT's telling us this thing. So thank you. That's an important point. That's one of the reasons we have these meetings, is to come up with ways that we can improve. So we will. Glad I came back to you there. Okay, so Mina, we did talk to you. Kathleen, anything to add?
No, I have nothing to add, and I just like to say that I do very much enjoy these meetings, and I work a lot in construction, but coming to the consultant side, I've learned so much just listening in on these meetings, and being a part of this group from the WISDOT perspective. So thank you for everybody's comments.
Yeah, thanks for your organization here. Mitch, is there anything else you would like to add?
I have nothing else to add at this time.
Thank you for helping us out today. Rosalind, words from you?
No, just look for our newsletter. We're gonna be spotlighting the annual event and our some trans graduates and a few of our mentor protege peers. So we're working on that right now. So, and also I like that idea of Kim. And so we might do a little spotlight on DB Support Services webpage.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Thank you. Maria,
No,
nothing
nothing.
else?
No. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody.
Okay. So not forgetting you, Scott, but I want to go through and see if any of our industry representatives here would like to add anything. Dave, you mentioned you had something from ACEC.
Kim hit on it pretty good, but just to throw out, the quarterly meeting is a great opportunity to meet people. Angela, I don't know if you've attended that in the past. Our next one is scheduled for May 3rd, coming up here in about a week. And then in the notes, last time I talked about our partnering efforts with ACEC and the department, and just a quick update. Chris Klein from ACEC and then Mike Holker have been talking, and the next step is to look at identifying some names for a smaller committee to move the process forward. I think, unless Scott, you have any recent updates, I think that's the latest I'm aware of.
That's the latest I have too, Dave, that I think Michael was gonna touch base with Chris this week.
Okay.
To make sure we're moving forward with that.
Great, thank you.
That's all I have, Madeline.
Thank you much. I don't think we have a NAMAC representative here at this time. Hopefully they'll be sending someone to us in the future. Connie Lee is not part of NAMAC anymore and has moved on from Transmart. So that's why she's not here. I'm not sure what her plans are, but we did certainly appreciate her input and representation from NAMAC. So we'll let you know where we're at with their participation moving forward. Mary did give us some updates, but did you have anything else you wanted to add, Mary, for FHWA?
Not right now, no.
Okay. Thank you very much. And since we went through, I'm guessing anybody from the Dbe office said what they wanted to say. I certainly spoke for a long time, so I don't have anything else to add. Any other questions, burning thoughts that you weren't able to share? See none. I'm not seeing anything in the chat that we missed. So with that, why don't we move over to Scott Lowry to add anything you may want to share with us, Scott, before we end up adjourning.
One good information that's shared, and I'm glad everybody's engaging in the meeting. Sometimes we don't always do that in large meetings, so it's good to see that. Regarding the bill, if those are aware or not aware, the Joint Committee on Finance reviewed and approved our Fed spending plan yesterday. I've seen some stuff on the Wheeler report this morning. I didn't read much of it, but in detail. Yeah, I think they made some slight modifications, but I'm not sure exactly. It wasn't a lot. So we should be set to start moving forward with some of those things. I do know that the region offices and the Bureau or DTIM are continuing to review the submittals from the municipalities for stuff that can be done yet this federal fiscal year, with some release of those projects in early May. So that's exciting as well. I did look a little bit, Kim, for the contracts that you were talking about, because I do know that I have a meeting with Paul in the morning tomorrow morning to take DT 25s up to him. I know it looked like on the list that I had seen, Kim, that there were the full service master contracts. I didn't necessarily couldn't get through all of them, but I know it looks like the full service masters were going to be going up there with me tomorrow, but I'm not sure where the other ones, maybe they're in that packet, maybe they're in a previous packet, but I guess I couldn't look too quick while we were meeting here. So that's really all I have. I think there's, it's a lot of challenging times, but also opportunities there for a lot of people. So,
Great. Well, thank you. We appreciate you being here at this meeting too, and getting perspective from administrator's office, and so that you also hear any concerns or questions or positive feedback that's coming from this stakeholder group. So thank you. Our next meeting is July 27th. I know that seems like a long ways off, but it's going to be here in a flash. So we're looking at doing that as a hybrid meeting, hoping that we can do an in-person and still offer the option for anybody to come in on Teams. So we will let you know before we get there. And this meeting is always open to stakeholders to join. So if you want to recommend to other DB firms, to your other colleagues to engage here and be present, we welcome that participation. With that, I thank you all for being here, sharing your time, and I hope that the season is off to a great start for you.